Okay. So, welcome to Random Thoughts. This will hopefully, I don't want to jump any sharks here, but this might be our first podcast episode on our new podcast, which will be up soon.
Hence the mics, so it sounds better.
So, we've got new mics. Hopefully, the sound quality is better. Hopefully, they work. I think I've got it right, but we'll find out soon. But today's topic. So, we had an athlete in last night. He's young. He's only 11 years old. He was quite worried about coming back for his second session. You weren't in last night, Tom, so you don't know about this yet. His science teacher had told him that weights stunt growth. And it's something we see a bit of, and it's something we're constantly dispelling. And I thought today'd be a good chance to break it down on the back of that session last night.
Okay, so it's such... Okay, first things first. It's probably... I think it's probably a good myth in the sense that it's a myth that keeps teenage boys out of the gym.
Keeps them hurting themselves, yeah.
And teenage boys are a danger to themselves and those around them, literally, in the gym, unsupervised. So teenagers supervised, 2 thumbs up, unsupervised, holy cow. So in that sense, it's a myth that's probably ultimately saved it might have saved a few lives.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a flat out myth. So the myth comes from in the 1980s, a number of junior Olympic lifting athletes doing huge weights, Olympic lifting style, so where it's ballistic movement, damaged their growth plates, or were alleged to have damaged, because no one's really trotting them around as examples, but that's where it sort of came from. And so from that, what people took was, don't lift weights, you can damage your growth. And the takeaway should have been, don't do heavy Olympic lifting.
Heavy maximal effort, full range
you
of
can
motion
damage your growth plates. And it's been lost in translation. And so people just say, oh, careful you don't lift, you might damage your growth. So
the theory being that the weights are so intense that they kind of somehow via the tendon pull on the growth plate, disrupt it, and create damage that slows, stunts, inhibits growth.
Impact the growth plate. Yeah. But the reality is that almost everything you're doing in sport has a higher growth plate impact than anything you could ever do in the gym. So to understand that, what you've got to know is, if you, let's just say, and I always say this...
So just go back a step before you jump into that. Because people often think of load in terms of weight.
Yep.
Load can be ground reaction forces. I think that's a big thing that's missed, is that you can be ground reaction forces from sprinting, jumping, landing, cutting, climbing stairs, running downstairs. That is load on the body. It's just coming up through the ground, not down through a barbell.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same principle.
Yeah, and like if you said to me, Durham, I really hate that kid, I'll give you $10 million. You never have to work again. Just, I'll give you $1 billion. Damage his growth plates via squatting. Unless we get airborne, we really aren't a good chance to damage them. You actually need impact. And how that works is to damage the growth plate, it's
rapid
not
eccentric
it's
load.
got to be smacking against each other. So you can damage your growth plates doing inappropriate plyometrics. If you're doing jumping off a box down to something really low and you don't land well, you can
or you do enough of it. Even if you do land well, you just do too much of it.
You can do too much on court volume. If you can you do way too much sport, you can damage your growth plates, because the equation is ground reaction forces. And so the maths on it is, it's somewhere between 6 and 8 times your body weight
through one leg.
Through one leg
when you're sprinting.
So if you've got a 60, what's your math like? 60 times 8.
6 8s are 48, 480.
So every 60 kilo athlete, every step they're taking is approximately 480. So half a ton
of ground reaction forces coming up through the ground, through their
step.
foot, every single time they sprint, when they're running at high speeds.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason plyometrics were invented and were effective was they got guys who'd kind of clocked the gym, and they're like, we need to find...
Squatting triple body weight kind of thing, and full depth type stuff. Yeah.
We need to find a way to load these guys more, and the best way is ground reaction forces.
Is to drop them onto a surface.
So the idea that you can damage your growth in the gym, damage your growth plates, doing non-ballistic lifting is insane. If you want to damage them, jump squats. You're actually... I'm not saying they will damage them, but that's how you could do it.
That $10 million question came up again. That's a good starting place for your program.
Yeah, if you could jump squat with a stiff-legged landing, I reckon that'd be a good way to damage them. Olympic lifting does offer potential to damage them, because again, the weight's in the air, and it can potentially come down. That does not to say it will damage them.
Yeah, it
can.
It can. Yeah.
But non-ballistic lifting just physically can't. It's just you require the impact to achieve it. And so that's unpacking the myth of why. But what's interesting is there's more to it. And the thing that I think that we're all pretty passionate about is injury prevention for junior athletes. Performance enhancement lays on a foundation of injury prevention. The thing is, if you want to have an athlete absorb less kinetic energy with their knee surface and with their growth plates, squatting and strength training in general are the best possible way, because if the muscles are stronger, then they absorb the kinetic energy. They absorb that 480 kilograms of pressure better. Yeah. So less net energy
will end up in the growth plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually the opposite. Weights training,
it's not just that it's harmless.
When done intelligent, will actually help your body absorb the potentially harmful ground reaction forces by making the muscles and the movement skill as well. So you're absorbing it more evenly across the joints.
Using the glutes.
But then by using even just the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, calves, by absorbing it through the muscles and through the tendons as opposed to jarring into the enthesis and into the growth plates, you get a much better result. Yeah,
so it's not just... So there's the myth that it's harmful.
And then you can flip it the other way.
And it's actually not harmful at all. But more importantly, it's the ultimate growth plate protection strategy, is to have a really strong, supple body with high movement skill. And you'll absorb beautifully with the muscles and not absorb the kinetic energy with the glutes, with the joints rather. And we see it all the time. Athletes that come in here with knee soreness, and you watch them land, you're like, oh, because you've got no squat pattern, so you can't absorb, you can't wipe off the energy. It's all just going slamming into your joints. So it's a harmful myth, but it's a complete reversal. So, and this doesn't count logically at all, but sometimes I'll explain that, and people will still be kind of like, I don't know. But I've heard it's like people, they don't want to change their mind. So that science teacher, hope you're watching. I hope the student. I guess they're not going to tag the teacher, are they?
No grade 6 science student.
It's not going to work. But anyway, he might still not change his mind. And sometimes I've had to revert to a much less intellectually sound thing. And I just say, look, see Liz Cambridge? She trained here since she was 14, didn't stunt her growth. And
she's doing fine.
And they're like, oh, okay. Which is not a good form of evidence or argument, because that's just an example.
N of Liz Cambridge doesn't really count for much, unfortunately, in this case.
But what's interesting is that people...
on that, you can't protect your growth plate so much that you all of a sudden become as tall as Liz either.
Yeah, results may vary.
Yeah, results may vary.
Physios love strength training for juniors, because they're the ones dealing with when things go wrong.
Yeah. When Osgood and tendinopathy and severs and sore backs show their head.
And the deficit is always that missing vitamin is always strength. You know, the kid's running plenty. They might not be running well, but it's
running enough. Yeah,
running enough. Yeah, and I don't think, like, every presentation I give, I have to spend 5 minutes dismantling that myth, because you can sense it in people. People are kind of, oh, weights and kids, and there's a whole host of other reasons why you've got to be really careful with kids and weights. It's you don't just load them like they're mini adults.
Yeah, you can't just chase the weights and get really aggressive about it. No.
And they are still, I think of them often like they're like a model car where the glue hasn't set.
Yeah, still got some soft edges.
You've got to be conservative and calculated and age appropriate in your progressions. But I think some controlled resistance training is the best thing you can do, and it's not at all harmful. If people are watching this, so we're getting quite a few inquiries from people around the world who can't come in and see us here. Go to our YouTube channel, the movement skill stuff. There's the movement library, Warm Up 2.0. That's got a little tutorial of me coaching James on how to squat.
I'll link all those in the description.
Like if you just said, okay, what's the one thing? Just learn to squat nicely and learn to land like a ninja. They're both in those videos. And if that's all you did, you are dramatically redirecting that kinetic energy away from your joints into the muscles, and helping you get into a better athletic stance and probably jump a little higher as well. So it's tremendous bang for buck for 4 minutes a day.
2 minutes if you're efficient about it. Yeah, it's a really short process. It's a really short thing.
And that will help protect your growth plates.
Nice.
Cool.